What's up, my friends? We're at it again. Make sure y'all smash that like button. Let's get this video right here to like 15,000 likes. We always make it to that. But look, man, I appreciate y'all for tagging along with me, man, and making this channel as lit as it is. When I wait to 1 million subscribers, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for y'all, man, and our positive energy that we put out in these videos. But look, man, make sure that y'all share these videos with your friends and your families. And just know, man, look, as long as y'all keep sending me these videos, we always gonna have compilations. So make sure that y'all go ahead and follow my socials and just tag me in videos, send me the videos as best as you can, and I'll try my best to get to them, man. I've been knocking these things out the park. I'm telling y'all.
Mountain Dew conspiracies, bro. I first seen it from Mav, so shout out Mav for sure. They doing everything in patterns. They always let you know too before something happens.
They have to let you know in a form of entertainment or in the form of symbolism. They have to tell you it's called the threefold law. They got to give you the truth before they're able to manipulate and alter your reality of everything that's connected to the simulation. So when you look at the Mountain Dew symbol, you look at the sigil system of the word Mountain Dew. Dew is a nomenclature title for a direct energy weapon. That direct energy weapon in itself creates cloud seeding technology that also creates geomagnetic storms. When you look at the Mountain Dew can, it's showing you Liberty Chill. Liberty Chill is acclimated to the fact that the great majority of that geographical landmass in New York is going to be frozen, just like they were showing you in the movie 2012 and the movie Day After Tomorrow. They telling us that they're trying to encapsulate the planet with a new ice age because we're on the rise of solar cycle 25. In order to subjugate the energy of the Christ consciousness, they got to make it cold here. So this is why you're going to see an influx of geomagnetic storms, more tsunamis, more hurricanes. So it's not a coincidence that they also put out the Hurricane Katrina documentary, while at the same time we're about to be at the precursor of hurricane season. So everything that you see as far as like direct energy weapons that's connected to Mountain Dew, they're just telling you that they're going to manipulate the weather to bring about this synthetic golden age with a great reset that's going to be created by the United Nations and the deep state shadow government.
Neil deGrasse Tyson's of the world. He is a very public figure. He is considered mainstream scientific community. A lot of people respect and listen to what he says.
I don't think he should be respected because I don't think he's acting in the best interest of science. I think he's broken his oath of science, and that, you know, frankly, if there were a tribunal of
he just said it.
Take away somebody's PhD, Neil deGrasse Tyson's PhD should be removed. When's the last time he's been invited to give a science talk? When's the last experiment he's published? Never. He hasn't. Why does anybody listen to him? Don't ask me. He bloviates. Sorry, Neil. He should be stripped of his PhD.
This barefoot African tribe was doing a Nike commercial one day, but little did they know Nike was actually hiding something from them. You see, the Samburu people in Kenya had always been known for only traveling barefoot. So in 1989, Nike's marketing team had the idea to do a commercial with them all wearing Nike sneakers. The idea was to show that even this historically barefoot tribe had finally decided to wear Nikes. But although Nike's ads seemed perfectly fine, that's when this anthropology professor noticed something very wrong. You see, at the end of the ad, the Samburu people were saying something in their native language, which Nike had translated to "just do it." But what Professor Lee Kronk realized was that these tribesmen weren't saying "just do it" at all, but actually, "I don't want these, give me big shoes." As it turns out, Samburu is an extremely rare language that's very difficult to translate into English. So when the Nike execs realized that actually saying "just do it" in Samburu took way too long, they just decided to intentionally mistranslate a shorter take of the tribesmen complaining about the shoes. Since only around 200,000 people in the world spoke Samburu, Nike figured no one would notice. But Professor Kronk just so happened to spend 2 years living with the Samburu people. So Nike got exposed and had to apologize.
Doesn't this raise your eyebrows?
Coca-Cola just signed a 5-year, $1.1 billion deal with Microsoft. 5 years ago, it was discovered that there were fluorescent nanoparticles in Coca-Cola. Now, if I were a conspiracy theorist, I might think there were more to this partnership.
Now, according to reports, Microsoft and the Coca-Cola Company have announced a 5-year strategic partnership to align Coca-Cola's core technology strategy system-wide. So it is said to enable the adoption of leading-edge technology and foster innovation and productivity globally. Using Azure OpenAI service, Coca-Cola is currently exploring the use of generative AI-powered digital assistants. Now, did you know they have found nanotechnology in Coca-Cola and in Pepsi products? Have a look at this. The biodistribution study in major organs indicated that the MPs were easily accumulated in the digestive tract, and they were able to cross the blood-brain barrier and dispersed into the brain. Questions, and of course suspicions, have been raised in recent years.
Warships are headed toward Venezuela. I want you to look at this real-time radiation world map. Anything above 200 CPM is dangerous. Look at this right here. This is done from individual people. Let me show you the timestamp. As of August the 17th, we got warships going over there. Let's look at the Geiger counter. Let's look at it. Come on, zoom it in. 14,749. This is over here near Venezuela. What on earth happened? What happened? Is this radiation going to get into the air? I want you to look at all these other countries really fast. Look at this. Okay, look at it. Okay. We can see some more data. Let me come back over here. I'm just going to show you, like the United States, you have a little bit of bad stuff, but nothing like 14,000. 14,000. Did they drop a bomb off over there? Did someone drop a bomb up there? Was there some type of a nuclear explosion? Something is going on. There's warships headed over there. What happened? What happened?
You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of what? The TV series Monarch. It's pretty much Godzilla, y'all. And when he was going to be around, they can tell by his signature of radiation. They like to consume radiation and absorb it and stuff. Let's keep going. Better not be no damn Godzilla out here like that for real. I just be joking, but I don't want that to really like happen. That'd be diabolical.
Why is it that whenever they do this, the AQI goes from 20 and under to over 40 in a matter of hours? What is that?
Damn.
This is a hostile takeover. That's what they have said. This is a hostile takeover by the seas people, those mermaids who came from the beginning of time and lived in the water, and the bodies of the crustaceans. And they are coming back. And they are going to remove every trace of toxic people from this planet. This means there will be civil war in all the countries of the world. And there will be monsters from the sea that are going to come. And every last one of the people who have been killing her. This is what they have said. We must come and offer humility.
Sorry, y'all. She said monsters again.
To the sea, everybody must stop penetrating the water with toxicity. If Japan goes forth with the dumping of the waste, it will be seen as an act of aggression in a war, an interplanetary war. They are going to begin. But they're going to... Everybody who aligns themselves with plastic over seawater, with lies of the man over our ancestral path, everyone who is trying to do her harm will be destroyed. That is their last warning. This is not my decision. I do not wish for anybody to die. But if you will not listen and come home peacefully to the water, then she will have to reclaim everybody who is disrespecting her shores her mountains, her rivers, her lakes, her black people, her dark people, anybody who aligns with plastic over silk. Those people who have been kept down will be rising in every country, even if they don't know it yet. They will be rising, there will be bloodbaths in every country, and monsters from the sea will regenerate their power to destroy human villains. This decision of Japan, we must force them to listen. You have to cut on all Japanese products so that they will stop this act of aggression. I was told I have to tell the story or I will maybe not live to see one more day on planet Earth because that is my mission. I will be recalled. So I am afraid, but I will try my best.
I encourage you to go back and watch that video if you want to understand the transmission fully, but essentially the message was that the spirits of nature are very, very angry at humanity for how we are treating them and each other, and essentially things are at a breaking point. This message comes from the water spirits because I'm a medium of the water spirits, but also because according to many of our traditions, the water spirits can really be seen as the originators of all life. So it's them who sent the message, and they will be taking charge of this process. They've warned that the waters will not tolerate any more abuses, and they've drawn our attention to one specific violation, that Japan is dumping 1.3 million tons of nuclear waste into the Pacific Ocean. It's going to be done in a gradual process which began at the end of August and will continue for the foreseeable future. We've been given the deadline of March 2024 to stop this. If we do not, all hell will break loose.
So is that why so is that why their nuclear reactor like went off and they had that whole situation years ago? Now, there were things on YouTube at the time that got taken down. I remember that. It were things that came out, lights that came out the ocean. They got taken off YouTube. This was years ago, like 2009, 10, well, like 10, 11, somewhere around there. It's around the time all that shit happened. Just know that. It's kind of weird, kind of creepy.
Rocket in this 1633 painting. Yes, from 1633. Look, that's a rocket. Or how about this Dutch painter, dude? The Baptism of Christ. What's that right there? That's kind of strange looking, isn't it? Huh? This one right here is 1327, dude. It's like 700 years ago. And look right here. What are these little dudes right here doing? They're at the top left and top right. What's going on with that, man? I mean, really and truly, I've got a couple more I want to show y'all. Hold on one second. Or the 15th century Madonna. What's that over Mary's shoulder? Look right there. There's an enlarged, but if you also look, before you try to dismiss it, what's this homeboy right here? Look, and his little dog. He's doing like this. The dog's like this. Somebody explain that one to me. I mean, how are all these paintings and Western paintings? What's up with that? There's got to be more to this. There's just got to be. This one obviously isn't a Christian painting, I know, but it's a daggum rocket, man. So let's look around on this picture. Let's see what we can find. Look, little dudes right there. I mean, that 1600s, man. I mean, I know fireworks. That's not a firework in my opinion. Come on, man. What's really going on?
They usually come shut off nukes and power plants, stop disasters sometimes. You can see from the ground they do have shadows too.
There goes a jet right by it. Well, a little higher. There's the jet, and there's the saucer.
Holy crap.
I got a better view of it now.
I know.
Wow.
Y'all said y'all wanted to see some saucers. Look, I had to bring y'all a throwback one that was real clear for you. All right, what that look like?
I find it very funny how just a few years in, from a semi-public disclosure to really get people's attention now, because we become so jaded and nobody's really interested in the flying saucer or the metal sphere or the orb flying around. So now, I mean, if aliens even want to get our attention, they need to show up in something a little more flashy, something that would capture people's attention. Even when you think about these advanced technologies and what they're capable of, and when they come down to Earth and they're presenting themselves to us, do they really need lights? When you see these flashing lights, these red, blue, there are theories that say they morph into these things, but they turn into what they think we want to see. They think we want to see all these flashing lights and stuff, but does that make sense for some really advanced technology? Do they even need external lights, or is that just for show?
Is this an angel or a demon? You guys really need to pay close attention in this video I'm going to show you, because if this is legit, it's insane. During a huge thunderstorm, a lot of lightning, a lot of thunder, something appeared in the sky. It's always possible with AI that this is fake, but if it is fake, it's one of the better ones that I've seen. But what's creating all the buzz is that people can't agree on what this creature is. So I'm going to show you the video. It's just a few seconds long. Then I'm going to show you a still picture of what's in the sky. You can also see it in the video, but I want you to really examine this one very closely. Tell me in the comments, what do you think? Angel, demon, or something else? Have a great day. God bless.
This doesn't blow your mind. That's a human hair right there. This is the Apple CPU, the little chip that's in your phone or your computer. Yeah, watch it. Tell me this is not fallen angel technology. I don't know what to say. Because nobody can make something like this. Not even a laser can shoot down that far and create something like this. Yep, just keep watching. We're going way deep. Oh yeah, we're not done yet. It goes further. Yep, and we hit the bottom, finally.
They were smart materials. Like, one of the things is when these materials, you'd be looking at them and you try to reverse engineer them, that they would turn to dust. And then and they would do it within a minute or two. And then so you could take the dust and then set it off and get the isotopic analysis done on them. And they were extraterrestrial. But these materials, I mean, we're looking at something that's hundreds of years ahead of us. When you look under a microscope, an electron microscope, you're looking at something that's composed of very small particles that seem to be communicating with one another. So those are the things that I've been involved in that we can talk about. But, you know, I think that's one of the reasons why extraterrestrial materials are not really available to most people, is because most of them are set to disintegrate if they get in the wrong hand. Isotopic analysis of the dust that's left behind tells you it's extraterrestrial, at least where it was manufactured. But so we're looking at materials that can reconfigure themselves. So they are composed of small subunits. So the type of things I looked at were there's something as small as a sliver of metal that would reconfigure itself depending on where it was. It would cloak itself and it would try to blend into the environment. So the ones that this one NGO used to get a hold of were the ones that were technically broken. I guess the ones that didn't really function very well. So then you could collect them every once in a while and then try to analyze them. You could do things like split them apart They would attempt to find each other or reconfigure. Some of the experiments they did was we took one of those and we put it on a very hot surface of about 3,000 degrees. And what it would do is it cooled the surface around itself. And then when we took the device off and then waited again, we would find that the mass would be reduced by a certain amount.
Did these feel like programmed materials to you, Richard?
Yeah, they were, like I was saying, they're more intelligent materials. Like these subunits probably had computational functionality, right? Because they knew what their neighbors were all about, and they knew they could reprogram themselves to be something different, right? If they needed to change themselves. So these are really curious types of materials. So that's how we could kind of tell they were extraterrestrial, because these things weren't like decades ahead of us. They were probably hundreds of years ahead of us.
Are there any unconventional technologies, propulsion technologies involved?
Yes, I have had the opportunity over the years to interview, again, people who have worked at the test site at Groom Lake. One gentleman spent 12 of his 30 years in black programs at Groom Lake. When I asked him, I said, first of all, I said, do you believe in UFOs? And he looked at me with a straight face in one-on-one. He said, absolutely, positively, they do exist. I said, can you expand upon that? And he said, no, I can't. About a year later, we were talking about, again, activities at Groom Lake. And I asked him, I said, you know, can you really tell me what's happening out there? And he said, well, there's a lot of things that are going on there that I won't be able to tell you until the year 2025. But we have things in the Nevada desert that would make George Lucas envious.
The Cunha Tunnel is basically everything anybody ever says on a phone, on a computer. Those guys are down there and they're listening to everything. And there's one spot in there that this lieutenant was telling us about that he worked in, and it was called Otherworldly Communications. And I'm like, what? He's like, there's only 8 of us. No enlisted, just officers. We're all linguists, and we just listen all day to otherworldly communications. Come on now. If we're talking about aliens, who can communicate with an alien? And he said that we have been doing this for a very long time, that we're already traveling in space. And I remember seeing them coming down. They were wearing like black uniforms. Only thing on their sleeve was a blue circle with a red pointer coming up the top on the left arm. We were told they were space program guys. This is 2007. A space program? What the hell is a space program? They're already in space and on the moon. And there is a dialect, and we do have linguists that understand the dialect. So then, 2 weeks later, a couple of guys I knew that worked in the Cunha Tunnel, I pulled aside and I said, listen, man, that lieutenant said there's a place called Otherworldly Communications. And they said, there is, man. We can't even go in the hallway over there. And then you find out why we're in Iraq. Because there's some artifacts that we have to get out of Iraq. We went to Iraq because we wanted to plunder some kind of artifacts they were looking for. He confirmed this. They said that there were some artifacts from, God, who knows how long ago, that were extremely important, and they were from other civilizations that came to Earth and started the whole program. And one of the officers said that this is our 4th civilization on Earth that has been this far or even further along than we are. Let's just hope we make it. What does that mean? Hope we make it? Is someone going to take us all out? And he indicated with his eyes that, yeah, we could be taken out if we do it wrong.
Sir, if we do what wrong? What wrong? What y'all doing? Why don't y'all gotta tell the rest of us too, man, so we all have a fair shot. If we gonna die, at least, you know what I'm saying? Just let me know just a little bit, you feel me? Let me brace for it or something, you feel me? Like, that's crazy. But it makes a lot of sense on how they would say that the ship that's approaching, they're hostile. It's just so crazy. Do y'all think that they're really out here getting artifacts and they trying to shoot this thing down before we get here? Let me know in the comments down below. Let's keep going.
I've captured someone from beyond the ice wall.
So the government captured one of these native Antarctic people, or Agarthians as you call them, and interrogated them.
Beyond the ice
They've been
wall.
studying this rogue country within Antarctica for decades, right? Of course they captured one of the natives. How else were they supposed to get any information on the place? Look, regardless, the things that they found out in the conversations that followed suit, right, were just, it puts history in a different perspective. Let's put it that way.
This
Wait,
is
they were
insane.
talking to this person? Well, look, I mean, wouldn't these people speak their own language? Buddy, just because they have their own native language doesn't mean they don't understand others as well. Look, after they detained him, right, they figured he was going to speak in some kind of uninterpretable tongue, so they sent in a linguistic expert by the name of Pete Richards to do the interrogation, right? And so Pete sits there asking him all kinds of different questions, right, about their society, about who they are. But the guy just wouldn't say a thing. He was completely silent, right? Up until the point where Pete put out these pictures the agency had taken of this country's pyramids, right? And he sets the picture down as he says, can you tell me about these? The guy didn't really budge, right? Like he didn't want to engage. And so Pete says, listen, we've seen structures like this before. He pulls out an image of the pyramids from ancient Egypt and shows it to him. And for the first time, the guy's expression just completely shifts, right? Like he was seeing something that he'd somehow seen before. And as he's staring at the image, he goes, second. Pete's just shocked this guy finally spoke, right? And as he's just staring at him, a higher-up agent in the room quickly says, Pete, what the hell's that mean? And with a kind of just wide-eyed, shocked expression of disbelief, Pete says, it's Egyptian.
Hey, weird.
It means old friend.
Government may have captured someone from...
You see.
NASA confirms the object is accelerating. It's not a comet, not an asteroid, and it's heading toward Earth.
Harvard professor and renowned theoretical physicist Avi Loeb on our air just last night, suggesting a newly discovered object that is speeding through our solar system could be extraterrestrial technology. Comet 3I Atlas was discovered on July 1st. According to NASA, it is just the third known object to be discovered within our own solar system that originated from outside our solar system. And it has drifted for millions, possibly even billions of years before it arrived here.
So now you're telling me that a council known as the Galactic Federation has been monitoring our planet since the beginning. They apparently were going to make themselves known in 2027, but due to everything that's been going on Earth, they've moved it up to 2025. They are on their third level of presenting themselves, first starting with the orbs last year, which a lot of people have seen. The second phase, their motherships, their modes of transportation, have been all around the entire world, cloaked, multiple places that I've seen the videos. Now, once again, this is allegedly, but the third phase is the guy who was sleeping in the egg. The egg, that the video that just came out recently, he was resting there, so he's basically their go-to guy. So there is apparently a council of 26, and there are the council of 5, which will be making their human presence known very soon to help us basically get through every bit of craziness that's been happening in our world right now. Now, obviously, anything I say is for entertainment.
Some see deceased people, like the movie The Sixth Sense. Rebecca sees extraterrestrials who walk amongst us.
So I was in the Ireland airport on a layover and sitting, just having something to eat. And there was a woman who walked by who was clearly from the insectoid faction. And I was aware that these beings exist, but I've never seen one in the flesh. How did she know that? And she walked by several times because she was at her gate and she was going to the washroom. And if someone wasn't aware of these beings, they still would have noticed the oddness of this woman because she was very, very tall. And she had a bone structure that isn't human. It's not a human bone structure. And so it was just very interesting to see, because I'm aware there are multiple different factions that live. It's like people think there aren't already aliens here, other beings on Earth, but there are many other beings. And I'm not clear if she's aware of the fact that she's an insectoid, probably that she's a bit different. But it was very interesting.
How does she know?
I from what I believe and have kind of seen and understand, I think that they can, some of them know, definitely, they absolutely know, and then some of them have maybe just a little bit more reptilian DNA, and they're not 100, they don't fully know, I'm a reptilian. I've seen multiple people shapeshift into reptilians, not just one. Okay. So the level of depends, there's a couple scenarios, the one lady who hissed at me in the movie theater, it wasn't her whole body turned into a reptile, but her eyes and her tongue turned into a reptile, her face turned into a reptile. It's usually just the face that you see. In the other two scenarios, it was people that I knew they were reptilian because I could just tell. I can tell there's a lot of people that have reptilian energy. It's very obvious, like you could see it. I knew they had reptilian energy, and the one guy had seen shapeshift in person a couple of times. Like it was actually like crazy to see his head even sort of like change shape. And he actually posted a video on Instagram, and in the video you could see the eyes change and the mouth and everything, and the head change shape. And I took a screenshot of it, and he took the video down. And there's another girl that exact same thing happened to, where they shapeshifted on video. I took a screenshot of it, and they took it down. This is like 2021, 2022, but a lot of different like hybrid alien type. These are more like in the spirit world, I'm talking. I mean, there's some in human form, but I'm talking spirit when I'm saying like there's all these different factions in the spirit world of different types of aliens or demons. I think I agree with you, kind of, they're very similar. And then there's also things like gargoyles and like globby things that have like, there's all kinds of like kind of like parasitic type entities.
They have larger eyes than humans do. Their eyes are roughly twice the size of our eyes. And when they're young, they're blue and white, just like ours. When you look at them, they look just like people with larger eyes. The eyes spread around the side of their head more than a human's does, and they're very prominent. And their eyesight is as good, at least, as that of a cat, and their hearing is as good as, at least, as that of a dog. They're capable of making sounds with their vocal cords that humans can't hear, just the way that I'm told rhinoceroses can do. But they can.
I swear, but we ain't tapped in yet, because we ain't shit right now. I ain't gonna lie, we ain't got no telekinesis, most of us. Can't smell worth a damn, can't hear worth a damn. I think sugar is cracking us. People think it's the drugs, it's the sugar.
Hear them, and they're well aware of this. When I was out there among them, it wouldn't be uncommon to apparently hear animal sounds out in the sagebrush. Sounds like meadowlarks, or dogs barking, or horses whinnying. Really, it was the aliens. When they would walk in on me, if they felt like just talking between themselves, they were perfectly capable of talking between themselves using sounds too high for me to hear.
Wait, say that again. You saw Jeffrey Epstein shapeshift, you said?
Yes. He turned
like how? Say that one more time.
I saw Jeffrey Epstein shapeshift into a devil-like reptilian creature. I want to be lie detected on it. Did you not know?
What was it? No. I did not know that, but no, I did not.
Well, do you know what?
No, tell me more, because I hear all about this, the reptilians and the greys and the shapeshifting and all that, but this is, wow.
So if someone else told me this, I would think they were mad. Sorry to swear again. If someone else told me this, I would think they were mad.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it happened to me, and I saw it. And I swear on my family's life, I swear on everyone and everything I love's lives, that I saw this man turn into something else in front of my eyes.
This deal about Jeffrey Epstein shapeshifting, what did he look like? When he shifted, what was his appearance?
His head went bigger, his head went a lot bigger like this, and then his eyes went really big like this, like big and black. And then there were like ridges on the head. You know, it wasn't like, David Icke's spoken about the reptilians. It was different. And it was, I've painted it. I'll share it with you. I need to paint it more because I burnt that painting because I don't like seeing it. But he turned it into something in front of my eyes. Like it was while he was orgasming. It was really, really... And when I looked at him, I was like, in my mind, I was like, well, I just thought, what's going on? I was freaked out. And then I decided to just look away, and I looked away, and then when I looked back, it was him again. But I saw it.
The hands and the other parts of the body, was it?
It was under a blanket from here.
So you just saw the head?
It was the head part, and it went big like that with the ridges and the horns and the massive eyes.
And like scales? Like reptilian scales?
Yes, yeah, like ridges and scales. Yeah, exactly. Like all around it. I've never seen anyone else turn into anything like that. And people say, oh, was I doing drugs? Epstein didn't allow drugs there. I smoked cigarettes. I wasn't even allowed to smoke cigarettes near. You had to smoke far away, and no alcohol, nothing around there. So if I was, I mean, maybe they drugged me, I don't know. But I saw this, and I've never seen anything like that again. But I've had nightmares and dreams of like demons coming at me around that same time. You know, but I never saw anyone else turn into something like that. And the other weird thing is that like I was still around him for quite a long time after that, but I never looked at him and thought, hey, why did I see this happen? It almost created like a brain fog. It was like such shock. You know, I was in such shock, and I couldn't tell anyone what had happened. And I didn't know what to make of it, to be honest. You know, it's like we start questioning ourselves, like, what am I seeing? But I know what I saw. I know what I saw.
Could you imagine that? Like, what would y'all? Could y'all did it any better than what she did? No pun intended. But like, that's crazy. That's crazy. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's a crazy way to find out. Somebody slam dunking your shit and then he transform is crazy. All right, let's get back to it, man.
Joe Rogan, Aleister Crowley. Joe Rogan, Aleister Crowley. I'm Truman from The Truman Show, the real life Truman. Thanks for watching.
You did look like him.
So we exist on another dimension, which is parallel to the physical. It's a higher frequency. So our whole societies and people does not have a physical existence anymore. And of course, we don't have sex because we don't have a physical body. But it's an exchange of energy between the two people. It feels very similar, and even actually better than what you would actually experience here. And our children, it's a choice that we make, and then the soul is invited and does come in. It's through kind of a ritual. Even though I physically look like you, I age a lot slower. I do have a faster heart rate. It's been recorded. Carry my children several months longer. Manufacture my own calcium. And my brain is not separated into two halves, you know, like yours. It's synchronized. It's works together.
This guy goes missing after exposing the place where NASA filmed the moon landing? Oh man, I just know. I just feel it in my bones, guys. This video went viral, and very shortly after, he came up missing. Check out the background, guys. Look, it's identical. They are identical the same. This guy goes.
Official NASA video of nightlife on Mars, guys. Look at this. Do you guys buy? Why aren't the stars twinkling? When you go outside and you look at the stars, they twinkle in the night sky. They are completely. Look at it. Look at that right there. They couldn't even put the effort in to make them twinkle and shimmer. This is obvious. Like, who's buying this? Like, put in the comments if you think that this is real. Look at this. The stars are not twinkling at. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. It's getting funny at this point. They actually are laughing so hard at all you guys because you believe them. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Look at that. That is completely computer generated CGI image. This is not what we observe at all. It's the complete opposite of what we observe. You know that, right? You do know that, right? Go outside and look. Let's also think about this. How can we land a rover on Mars, but we can't get a real picture of the Earth? You know, NASA tells us that all the pictures of the Earth that we have, they're all composites from satellites. So how can we land a rover on Mars, but we can't take a photo of the Earth? Why is there no 24-hour fucking time lapse of the Earth spinning at 1,000 miles per hour? Why isn't that a thing if we're on Mars with a rover? Riddle me that, globies. Peace and love. This isn't a...
Soon, people started to know.
The same reason why they said that we can't land on the moon, but we can land on Mars.
Soon, people started to notice some unusual structures outside the facility.
I drove out there And the first thing I did was hear the turbines. You can smell it as well. Such a disturbingly unique smell.
From the road, Keyshawn and others could see a row of machines that are typically only used for remote or emergency operations. Mobile gas turbines.
I have never seen portable turbines used like this.
Patrick Anderson works on air quality cases for the Southern Environmental Law Center.
We know that these kinds of generators require air permits. And so right off the bat, we started filing records requests with the local Shelby County Health Department. Do you have an air permit application from XAI? And they came back and basically said, no, we have nothing to hand over. We also filed records requests with EPA to see what they had. They also did not have details on what is on the ground out there. Nobody from the regulatory side, the health department, the city, EPA, has told the public or us really one iota of what's actually operating out there.
To figure that out, Patrick and his team hired a photographer to capture the data center from above. The images revealed far more turbines than anyone knew about. 35.
I couldn't believe it. I was absolutely stunned. How do we not know about this?
According to XAI leadership, the turbines are not being used and are not connected.
Under pressure, XAI claimed it was using less than half of those turbines.
I've talked to the XAI leadership team. There are 35, but there are only 15 that are on. The other ones are stored on the site.
Well, first off, these are expensive. There's a turbine shortage nationally. You don't obtain these turbines and put them on site if you're not intending to operate them.
So Patrick and his team sent the photographer back out with a high-end thermal camera.
What we saw is 33 of the 35 were very clearly operating.
The turbines were capable of generating about 420 megawatts of electricity, enough to power around 300,000 homes.
They built a power plant out there. And they've done it overnight, no air pollution controls, quick and dirty, no permit.
I mean, what you've done with the cluster in Memphis is incredible, just in a handful of weeks.
Any given thing can be sped up. Like whatever speed is being done, it can be done faster.
This is the largest AI cluster in the world. This place is absolutely amazing.
That is like superhuman. I mean, beyond singular. Building a massive factory in the short time that was done, there's only one person who can do that.
And this entire supercomputer is built to power rocks.
We were given a tour at XAI, looking at the facility. Very impressive, very exciting for Memphis. Their commitment to the community is remarkable.
You know what? I got an idea. Maybe I should ask Elon. I should send him an email and see if he'd give us a tour to put a lot of this stuff to rest. Maybe y'all want to go out there ourselves, man. Look, behind the scenes, I'm trying to get us into some places like that, but I feel like a lot of places won't respond back because fear.
Extracting melanin from human skin over 100 years ago, and this ain't no rumor; it's a fact. A biochemist named William J. Young published papers on it. You see it? He literally showed and detailed how to take melanin out the skin.
And people, that's melanin from everybody. It's melanin. And we all got melanin. Different types, but we all got it. So that's probably why. Is that the reason why the children are missing in Virginia? I don't know.
I have a snippet of William J. Young's research in this video, The Extraction of Melanin from Skin with Dilute Alkali by William J. Young, the Australian Institute of Tropical Medicine in Townsville, Queensland. And this was written in 1920. So here's the real question. Here's the question that got me interested in going down this rabbit hole in the first place. Why do they care about the melanin so much? But I figured it out. And I'll tell you why it matters so much. But not just that. I'll tell you why it matters so much today in this age, especially in the age of artificial intelligence. So let's backtrack. In 1914, William J. Young wrote about studying melanin in the human skin. In 1921, he described exactly how to extract it. That means scientists have been working with human melanin for over a century. Before the internet, before the cell phone, before all these modern day technologies, they were extracting melanin. They weren't doing this for fun. They knew it had value. They just never told the public the whole story. So instead, they reduced conversations about melanin to, oh, it just makes your skin darker. Well, that's like saying gold is just a yellow rock. So when they talk about melanin, they strip it of its deeper meaning. They try to just keep it surface level, as if melanin is just about skin color. But it's really about so much more. In the 1970s, scientists finally discovered that melanin is not just about color. It acts like a natural battery. It can absorb energy from light, it can store it, and it can use it for later. So think about that. Melanin takes in sunlight, takes in sound, takes in vibration, and it does something with it. That means it kind of works like a technology. It's alive with function. And that's why there are now patents on using melanin for things like batteries, solar panels, medical implants, sensors. They know that melanin does what electronics struggle to do, especially inside the human body. So how does all this tie into artificial intelligence? Right now, AI runs on silicone chips. It's powerful, but it's limited. It's fast, but it doesn't think like us. The human brain is different. It doesn't just run on electricity. It also uses chemistry. It learns, it adapts, it remembers in ways that these machines can't. Here's the kicker. Melanin can move both electricity and chemistry. That makes it a bridge material. It speaks the language of the brain, but also the language of machines. So if you are a corporation, or if you're the government trying to figure out how to make AI more lifelike, melanin would be the best way to do it. In fact, melanin will be the only way to do it. It's the resource that can push these machines into real consciousness. This isn't the first time power structures have tried to exploit resources from gold and diamonds to labor and culture. They always take, monetize, and control. Now, with AI, the frontier isn't just in the ground. It's in us. It's the melanin. And notice who carries the highest concentration of it. Notice who they historically experimented on. Notice who's most vulnerable when people start disappearing. This isn't paranoia. This is a pattern. So let's be clear. William J. Young proved that melanin can be extracted from human skin over a century ago. Modern science shows that melanin acts like a battery and a brain-like material. And today, with AI hitting a wall, that same melanin looks like the bridge that they need to continue on. They're not just after the resources in the earth. They're after the resources in us. So please, do your research. Learn about the melanin extraction. Learn about these AI facilities. Learn about these data centers. Learn about how people are going missing around these data centers. Learn more about how they have been extracting melanin from humans, plants, and animals for a very long time. And they use what's in us to make their spaceships, their weapons, their armor, and soon their artificial intelligence. Because the thing is, if we know better, we can do better. And maybe we can stop this thing. But in the meantime, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Drop a comment. Tell me what you think about this melanin extraction. Do you have any more information about this melanin extraction? Leave it in the comments. Make sure you...
Okay, so this is Meteor Man. It shows when this guy in this movie gets hit by this highly ionized uranium rock, merges with his DNA and gives him superpowers. So if you actually can see in this part right here, the older gentleman actually touches the same rock that Meteor Man touches, and he's able to get telekinetic powers and see through the wall and whatnot. And now also the bad guy in the movie, he actually touches the uranium rock and gets powers instantly. You know what I mean? Because that's how powerful gamma radiation and beta and alpha particles are when they come in contact with melanin. Melanin just absorbs it and soaks it up as energy. And so they've been telling you this in these movies this whole time, but we've been kind of like scared away from it, or we think it's science fiction, but really it's a fact. And this is the type of power uranium rocks is our power. You know what I'm saying? Not the actual rock itself, but the power that the rock withholds, the gamma radiation, and this mineral is most abundant in the Grand Canyon. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. I think we've been dealing with this a long time ago, and they kind of like separated us from our power. You know what I'm saying? With uranium rocks, you know, you see what Meteor Man's able to do. He's able to fly, jump super high, you know what I'm saying? He's like basically like Superman, because we are radioactive ionized gods.
Have you heard of Microsoft's global patent number 060606? 2016, Microsoft partnered with the Gavi Vaccine Alliance, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, WHO, UNICEF, World Bank, WF, and the UN to start the global initiative ID 2020. The goal? To create digital ID for everyone, with the plans to link biometric data to verify identity, a global database to monitor all humans. Think of the implications with CBDCs, vaccine passports, social credit-like systems. But how would they monitor every person? This is where Microsoft's patent comes into play. WO-2020-060606. Patent for a system where human body activates brainwaves, body heat, movement, etc. is used to mine cryptocurrency. It uses body activity as proof of work instead of traditional mining that requires massive computer power. The system would reward users with cryptocurrency when their body data meets certain conditions. If you tie ID 2020 and 060606 together, the combination could be used to track and control access to money, services, and even movement. Become a social credit system where access to cryptocurrency depends on behavior and compliance. Add in a layer of AI and automation, AI would determine who gets rewarded and who doesn't, based on your body's responses. Imagine being forced to comply to something and produce a certain brainwave condition before being able to buy or sell. Some may say, they can't do that, that's crazy, it only happens in movies. You're just trying to fear porn us. The patent number is literally 060606. I don't know what else to tell you.
You gave them your DNA. You gave them your children's DNA. You handed the serpent the blueprint of your bloodline and called it curiosity. It started with innocent questions. What's my ancestry? Am I part Viking, part royalty? You spit in a tube, you clicked submit. And with that, your entire genetic lineage was handed to a corporation. You didn't just trace your heritage, you entered a system. 23andMe partnered with GlaxoSmithKline, one of the largest pharmaceutical giants on Earth. Then came BlackRock, the trillion-dollar global puppet master, dubbed by some the company that owns the world. Its name, the Blackstone. In ancient rituals, the Blackstone absorbed power, held oaths, marked offerings. They're not just running reports, they're running filters, searching for something rare, something sacred. Davidic descendants, lost tribes, Nephilim markers, the bloodline of Christ or Cain. Your DNA didn't go to storage, it went to sorting. In Babylon, bloodlines weren't just heritage, they were heavenly mandates. Osiris and Isis, siblings married to preserve god blood. Pharaohs ruled by birthright, not merit. Sirius, the star of kingship, marked divine heirs by blood and sky. Today the rites look different, but the goal is the same. Find the chosen, control the rest. Temples became labs. Prophets became algorithms. Your DNA was offered like incense, and BlackRock became the new oracle. The question isn't where you're from, it's what are you worth to those who never stopped worshipping blood.
Now, I know on the surface, Pinky and the Brain can look like just cartoon comedy. But what if I said it's really more of a lesson in occult psychology? It's actually about the left brain versus the right brain, intellect versus intuition, and why control always fails while chaos can carry hidden wisdom. Let's decode it. The brain, well, he's the left brain. Logic, control, calculation, obsession with taking over the world. But notice, he never wins. And that's the trap of pure intellect, the belief you can dominate reality through force and strategy alone. Now Pinky is the right brain. Creative, chaotic, nonsensical. But notice how oftentimes his so-called foolishness actually saves the day. That's the archetype of the sacred fool, the wisdom that looks like madness. Together, they are the two halves of you. One side strategizes, the other improvises. Then one dominates, the other plays. But here's the esoteric key of it. Neither side by itself can actually take over the world. The real mastery comes in the balance. Intellect fused with intuition. Structure fused with creativity. This is why the show feels hypnotic, because it's playing out the inner war inside your own mind. Left versus right. Order versus chaos. And when you realize that, you see the secret. The world you're trying to control outside of you is just a mirror of the world you haven't balanced inside of you. So Pinky and the Brain isn't just cartoon comedy, it's initiation. A reminder that nonsense can be sacred and that over-control of reality is just another form of failure. Be sure to follow me. I'm Cosmic Paradox and get more of this decoding of the things we grew up on.
Well, what another banger, y'all. Look, I appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Let me know how y'all feel about this video in the comments down below. And like I said, I don't control how you feel, what you say. Y'all let me know what you got from this video. Is the mathing for y'all? It's crazy how we put these videos together. Y'all keep sending me these videos. I'm gonna keep putting them out. Look, I got my setup, I got my flow back and everything. So look, I'm up on videos. So we just gonna keep pushing these things out, and I appreciate y'all, man. Look, like I always say, spread love, because there's too much hate in this world. I love you guys. I see y'all in the next video, and I'm out of here. Bye.